So hello and welcome to Active Ideas. This is the Polar Grit X Pro and this is 10 things you need to know about the watch. So we're diving straight into it. If you're getting a watch like the Grit X Pro, one thing I really think you should know is that the durability is fantastic. Now I've not shown this watch any mercy, and thank you Polar for sending this watch for me to test. I've chucked this in the bag, I've scraped this against rules. It's been rock climbing, running, it's been hiking up in the mountains, you name it, this has seen through it. But yeah, it's got a military grade 810G durability test rating and also a sapphire display. Yeah, since testing this since last year, there is literally not a mark, not a scratch on the bezel, on the screen. This is in immaculate condition. And one kind of issue with sports watches can be the buttons as well. And this has got a lot of buttons. But every single one of them performs and feels just as good as it did when I opened it up on day one. So yeah, thumbs up for durability. One thing I really rate about Polar as well is they're really screaming from the rooftops how good this is at handling humidity. And for you guys who are into your kind of hot cold therapy, ice baths and sauna, to get that optimal amount of recovery, having a watch that can handle humidity but also extreme temperatures, so anything down to minus 20 degrees Celsius all the way up to 50 degrees Celsius, and being able to operate in those temperatures, fair play to Polar, and that's why I put that as number one of things that you need to know. Now number two things that you need to know about the Grit X Pro is the heart rate tracking. So it has technology called Precision Prime, and what that means is any kind of artifacts or any kind of weird spikes in data, Polar is going to be able to kind of iron that out, and that's usually something you'd see from a heart rate strap, so to have that from an optical heart rate sensor is really good. I have seen really good results with Polar, I am very impressed with it. People with darker skin tones can struggle to get that heart rate data. This is working really well and I think it's absolutely fantastic. Where I think this sensor really shines is for that kind of daily tracking and for that sleep tracking. The heart rate variability numbers that I'm getting from here are fantastic, and it's data that I can rely on, which is really good. Nobody's going to be sleeping in a heart rate strap, so it's good to have data that you can rely on for more of that kind of wellness and health tracking, not just the sports. So number three things that you need to know about the Polar Grit X Pro is the navigation features. And in 2024, does this watch still cut it? Polar will now have two watches that can kind of kick the Grit X Pro's butt at navigation because they're now offering topo maps, but does this still cut it? So on this watch you are getting an altimeter, you are getting a compass, you're also getting the weather forecast, coordinates so you can get your current location, as well as daylight saving time such as dusk, dawn, sunset, sunrise. All of those features kind of associate with that outdoor navigation recreational feature. You're also getting turn-by-turn navigation with the Grit X Pro, powered by Commute, which is like free to use. But I will say that this watch is missing topo maps and it has been a bit cumbersome. So on other apps, I'm sure Polar's going to change this probably this week, but with other apps you can kind of create the map on there and sync it up really seamlessly, whereas with the Grit X Pro you have to whip out your computer. It just seems a bit kind of back in time, so hopefully that gets improved with this new release of Polar's watch. But I will say that the accuracy on this watch has been phenomenal, so yeah, if you are using this for turn-by-turn navigation, following kind of a breadcrumb trail, the navigation that I've seen and GPS accuracy has been great. So yeah, what you're going to get is a route that you can trust when you're up there in kind of pretty horrendous terrain, such as mountains, heavy dense forests, and like canyons and things. And it also features a pretty basic find my way back feature, so you can get back to where you started, your tent, your car, wherever you kind of started your journey. Number four things that you need to know about the Grit X Pro is the elevation profiles. Garmin has like Climb Pro, lots of companies doing a very similar thing. So yeah, if you're someone who really likes tracking elevation gain and also elevation descents as well, if you like that information, it's really visual. So for those people trying to Everest and all those things, this is a cool watch. Number five things that you need to know about the Grit X Pro is the GNSS. So the GPS system is really good. It comes with assisted GPS, which is basically a fancy marketing term that this is going to have pretty good speed, pretty good duration and kind of routing tracking. One critical point I do have with the GPS, which has been fantastic, I do like the route it does produce, but when I first start my run and trying to connect to satellites, you might not be waiting ages with the Grit X Pro, but you can expect it to take between 3 to 10 seconds, not a lifetime, but it does feel like that. compared to these newer watches. And if you're on race day and you're waiting for your watch for 5 or 10 seconds because you forgot to start it, that might be something that might affect you. I know I always forget to start my watches on race day. So number 6 things that you need to know about the Grit X Pro is that it has fantastic HRV and ANS tracking. So HRV stands for heart rate variability and ANS stands for autonomic nervous system as well. So when you wake up in the morning, you can really dive deep into that data. Having that accurate heart rate sensor that I talked about before means that you're getting really precise information. Everything down to the milliseconds it takes from your heart to go from one beat to the next is being tracked through the night. And what you'll see as well is trends. So if your baseline drops, Polar's going to let you know and go, look, physiologically, things look like you're a bit stressed. Might be worth taking a bit easy. So for you guys that value that wellness tracking, this does offer a really kind of complex system where you can get what you need visually with a quick look, but also dive a bit deeper into the details. So number 7 of things that you need to know about the Grit X Pro and what we've been led on to nicely is how good the sleep tracking is on this. First of all, before we dive into the metrics, what I like about the Grit X Pro is although this is like a military grade watch, the weight and comfort is really nice. I've paired it with a nylon band, so feel free to check the links in the description if you fancy one of those. Yeah, I forget I'm wearing this. It's very lightweight, it's very comfortable, it just feels nice on the skin. And when you wake up in the morning, you're going to get really in-depth sleeping information, which feels a bit more nourished than what other brands might offer you. You get to see your sleep charge, you get to see your sleep continuity, and you also get to see your sleep cycles really clearly, and you get to see all the percentages of each sleep cycle if you want to. And if you want to take it even further, you can report back how your sleep was. So if it was good, you can click it felt good, or if it's bad, you can click bad, and obviously track that over time. So number 8 of things that you need to know about the Grit X Pro is the fitness tracking. So for you guys looking to monitor your fitness, Polar comes with lots of fitness tests, so you can really kind of track what your athleticism is looking like and whether it's taking a dip or a dive. My favourite of these is the fitness test because you can quite literally lay in bed whilst it basically guesses what your VO2 max is and then it will report back. So I like being told that your VO2 max is excellent and all I've done is lay in bed. That's my favourite test. But you've also got tests for cyclists such as like an FTP test. You've also got like a strength and conditioning test with the legs where you can do 3 jump tests a month and you'll get a baseline, and then after your kind of strength and conditioning session, see how fatigued you are by doing that leg test again, and Polar will let you know how you're getting on. But what I really like is the cardio load status. So Polar's going to tell you like if you're exhausted basically, which at the minute I do feel like I am. I ran a backyard ultra just like 10 days ago. I'm feeling fatigued still, and Polar's reflecting that. It's saying, look, your cardio load is extremely high. And what you can do then as an athlete, once you've got the information from the watch, is go, do you know what, maybe I'll take another rest day, or maybe I'll reduce the intensity or duration of my training session. So cardio load status is really good. And to top it off with the cherry on top, it comes with FitSpark. So Polar's always analysing your training, and what you'll find with FitSpark is that you can go onto that widget, it'll basically tell you what you need to do today. Whether that's core, flexibility, mobility, building up your cardio base, FitSpark will let you know, and you can actually click on those training sessions and choose to do them. So they're guided training sessions that have been suggested to you, reflected and based upon what your training has looked like to build you as an athlete without getting you injured. Really kind of in-depth information there, and it's coming from Polar, which are obviously highly regarded by myself but also the scientific community. So number 9 things that you need to know about the Grit X Pro is battery life. Now Polar are shouting for the rooftops that this is going to get you 7 days worth of battery life, and when this watch came out it was good. It also offers 40 hours of GPS tracking, which today is still a really good standard. I mean, the Apple Watch is barely going to get you through a marathon, so 40 hours GPS is good. The only issue is that there are other watches now, such as the Sunto Race, which has an AMOLED screen. It's beautiful, much clearer I would say to read than this, and they're offering 40 hours of GPS, as well as twice as much battery life when you're using this in kind of like a health tracking, you know, notifications on, heart rate tracking, sleep duration, all those things. I've found you really are only going to get 7 days battery life in this. It's not the best watch for you guys who don't like battery anxiety. I mean, if you compare this watch to the Cinto Vertical, for example, in battery saving mode, you can get like 100 hours GPS on this watch, which is like a restricted mode. With the Cinto Vertical Solar, it honestly wouldn't surprise me on a really sunny day if you had got 100 hours of GPS with the best GPS tracking switched on. So that's one thing to consider if you are looking to use this in the mountains and you're doing kind of multi-days. I literally just did the Backyard Ultra a week ago. Keeping this thing charged isn't as easy as those other brands, Coros, Garmin, Cinto. One thing to consider. I'm not too sure if they've proved that for the new watch, so stay tuned on this channel. Now, number 10 of things that you need to know about the GRIT-X Pro is the phone connection. And it's another thing that hasn't been overly impressive, but don't worry, I've got a bonus thing for you guys which is really great about this watch. Now, to put it plainly, and I really do respect and love Polar, the phone connection on this, it has been a bit of an issue. So you can hold down this back button to force sync your watch, which is good. And when you do have the Polar app open, usually that's going to sync up, 9 times out of 10. I will say that I have used the Polar Ignite 3, and that did seem a little bit better in terms of that phone connection. Now, I want to end on a positive, so this is the bonus thing that you need to know about the GRIT-X Pro, and it's the fueling. And it really does remind us why Polar is king in this industry. They are really highly regarded by the scientific community for how accurate they are, and there's a reason for that. I really do like how seriously they've taken fueling. It's really easy to go onto fueling on here and select what times and what intervals you want to be notified to have your food, have your gel. It even has a drink reminder as well, and it has a smart reminder. So if your intensity increases, Polar will increase the amount it alerts you to get the gel in or get the water in. So I think really kind of awesome feature there, and it reminds us why Polar are king. Fueling is really easy to do on this watch. You don't have to download an app, you don't have to install an app like on some platforms. You just literally go onto the settings, you select fueling and click go. So thumbs up to Polar for that one. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. If you have any questions about this watch or new Polar watches, please leave a comment down in the description. My channel is getting a lot of views, a lot of comments, but not a lot of you guys are subscribed. So if you can, please support the channel, drop subscribe, and that just helps me pump out more content. But yeah, apart from that, thank you to Polar for sending me this review sample, and yeah, it's been a pleasure. I like its durability, I like its GPS accuracy and its heart rate accuracy. Diving into that cardio load state, this has been really fun, and being able to track my heart rate variability, as well as my ANS system to see how physiologically stressed I am, has been a delight as well. It's a very comfortable watch to use, and yeah, it gets a thumbs up from me if you can find a good deal on the Polar GRIT-X. Peace out.
So thanks for watching. You know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe if you can. My slogan, dreams are a step away. And remember, show compassion, show esteem, and have fun out there. Peace out.